In this world where kindness is often seen as a virtue, have you ever stopped to consider how being too nice could be your downfall? Today, we are going to uncover the hidden dangers of excessive kindness, a path often less spoken about but crucial to understand. It's a stark reality that in our quest to be selflessly generous, we might inadvertently open ourselves up to a myriad of problems, both emotionally and financially draining. This discussion isn't about demonizing kindness, but rather shedding light on its darker consequences when left unchecked. Our journey will be guided by the principles of Stoicism, a philosophy that values balance, self-awareness, and emotional resilience. Stoicism teaches us that there is a fine line between altruism and self-neglect. By giving too much of ourselves, we risk not only being taken for granted, but also attracting those who would exploit our generosity. The consequences of this one-sided giving are far-reaching, leading to unrealistic expectations, emotional burnout, and even a distorted sense of self-worth. As we delve into these 10 critical points, remember this is an exploration into how too much of a good thing can turn sour. It's a cautionary tale that reminds us of the importance of setting boundaries, understanding our value, and learning to say no when necessary. This is not just a lesson in Stoic wisdom. It's a practical guide to navigating the complex dynamics of human relationships, ensuring that our kindness is both a strength and not a vulnerability. So let's begin this eye-opening journey into the potential perils of being overly kind. 1. The danger of unrealistic expectations. In exploring the dangers of excessive kindness, the first and perhaps most critical point is the creation of unrealistic expectations. This arises when our continuous acts of generosity set a bar so high that it becomes a breeding ground for disappointment. In the pursuit of being selflessly kind, we often fail to realize that our actions might be setting us up for emotional pitfalls. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior is a deviation from the ideal path of rationality and emotional balance. Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches the importance of viewing life through a lens of realism and practicality, warns against such imbalances. When you habitually put others' needs before your own, you're not just helping them, you're also creating an expectation, both in yourself and in those you help, that this is the norm. You start to believe that your relentless giving will be met with equivalent returns, but unfortunately this expectation often leads to disappointment. The repercussions of this one-sided generosity extend beyond external interactions. Internally, when your high expectations aren't met, you might experience a range of negative emotions. Feelings of disappointment, frustration, and even resentment can start to surface. You could begin questioning the gratitude and integrity of those you've helped, leading to a spiral of negativity. This internal conflict is in stark contrast to the Stoic pursuit of inner tranquility and emotional resilience. Moreover, consistently high expectations from your acts of kindness can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional well-being. This relentless cycle of giving and feeling let down can lead to emotional exhaustion. It's a scenario where your sense of self-worth becomes perilously tied to the reactions of others to your kindness, leading to a distorted view of your own identity and value. Therefore, this first point serves as a vital wake-up call. While kindness is undoubtedly a virtue, it needs to be practiced with a sense of realism and self-awareness. The Stoic approach advocates for a balanced perspective on kindness, one that is generous yet anchored in the reality of human nature and the dynamics of interpersonal relationships. It's a philosophy that teaches us that while we can offer kindness, we must do so without attaching our expectations to the responses of others. This understanding is crucial for maintaining emotional equilibrium and avoiding the traps set by unrealistic expectations. 2. Emotional and financial depletion. The second critical point in understanding the dangers of excessive kindness revolves around the concept of emotional and financial depletion. This occurs when our continuous acts of generosity not only drain our emotional reservoir, but also strain our financial resources, often leaving us in a state of depletion that contradicts our intentions of benevolence. Stoicism, with its emphasis on moderation and self-control, provides a valuable lens through which to view this issue. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to live in harmony with nature and ourselves, which includes maintaining a balance in all aspects of life. When we extend ourselves too much in acts of kindness, especially without considering our limits, we risk depleting our emotional energy and financial stability. Emotional depletion manifests when we constantly prioritize the needs of others over our own. This continuous outpouring of emotional energy can lead to a state of burnout, where we find ourselves feeling empty, exhausted, and unable to provide any more support, even to ourselves. This state not only diminishes our capacity to help others, but also impacts our own mental health and well-being. Financial depletion is another significant concern. In our eagerness to help others, we may overextend our financial resources. Whether it's through lending money, incurring expenses on behalf of others, or sacrificing our financial goals, this excessive generosity can lead to financial strain. The Stoics warn against such excesses, advocating for a life lived in accordance with reason and practicality. They encourage us to consider the long-term consequences of our actions, including the financial implications of our generosity. Moreover, this depletion can create a vicious cycle. As we become more emotionally and financially drained, our ability to make rational decisions diminishes. This can lead to further unwise choices, perpetuating the cycle of depletion. It's a far cry from the Stoic ideal of living a life of virtue, where wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation guide our actions. In conclusion, the second point teaches us the importance of setting boundaries in our acts of kindness. While it is noble to help others, it is equally important to do so within the limits of our emotional and financial capacities. Stoicism reminds us that true generosity does not require sacrificing our well-being. By practicing moderation and self-awareness, we can ensure that our acts of kindness are sustainable and do not lead to our own detriment. 3. Neglecting personal goals and responsibilities. The third pivotal point in the discourse on the hazards of excessive kindness is the neglect of personal goals and responsibilities. This issue arises when our persistent focus on others leads us to sideline our own ambitions, dreams, and duties. In the process of being overly generous and accommodating, we may unwittingly put our own life's objectives on hold, an outcome that is both ironic and self-defeating. Stoicism, with its foundation in virtue ethics, emphasizes the importance of personal development and self-care. According to Stoic philosophy, the development of personal virtues and the fulfillment of one's own potential are paramount. When we immerse ourselves excessively in the service of others, we may compromise our growth and neglect the responsibilities we have towards ourselves. This imbalance is not only detrimental to our personal progression, but also contradicts the Stoic principle of living a well-rounded and reasoned life. Neglecting personal goals can manifest in various ways. For instance, consistently prioritizing others' needs might mean sacrificing time that could be spent on personal hobbies, education, or career advancement. This can lead to a stunting of personal growth and a sense of unfulfillment. In a similar vein, by constantly placing others' responsibilities above our own, we risk falling behind on our tasks, leading to stress and a sense of being overwhelmed. Moreover, this neglect can create a ripple effect on our mental and emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-reflection and self-awareness. When we fail to attend to our own goals and responsibilities, we may experience feelings of regret, resentment, or a loss of identity. This can lead to an existential crisis, where we question our purpose and the direction of our life. In conclusion, this third point underscores the necessity of maintaining a balance between helping others and pursuing our own goals. Stoicism advocates for a life where personal growth and self-care are given equal importance as acts of kindness towards others. It reminds us that true fulfillment comes from a life lived in harmony with our own values and ambitions, alongside our altruistic endeavors. By ensuring that we do not neglect our personal goals and responsibilities, we can live a more balanced and meaningful life in line with Stoic virtues. 4. Being perceived as weak and easily exploitable. The fourth critical point in the exploration of the pitfalls of excessive kindness is the risk of being perceived as weak and easily exploitable. This issue arises when our constant willingness to help and accommodate others leads them to view us not as benevolent, but as lacking strength and assertiveness. In our attempt to be endlessly kind, we might inadvertently send a message that our boundaries can be easily overstepped, making us targets for exploitation. This perception clashes with the Stoic philosophy, which values strength, resilience, and self-respect. Stoicism teaches the importance of projecting an image of self-reliance and fortitude. By always appearing ready to bend over backward for others, we may unwittingly project an image of ourselves as doormats, susceptible to being taken advantage of. This not only affects how others treat us, but also how we view ourselves, potentially leading to a decrease in self-esteem and self-worth. Being seen as weak can have several detrimental effects. Firstly, it can lead to a loss of respect from peers and colleagues, as constant agreeableness and lack of assertiveness are often not valued in personal or professional relationships. This can impact career prospects, social standings, and even personal relationships. Secondly, this perception can attract individuals who specifically seek out those they can manipulate or exploit, further increasing the likelihood of being used and mistreated. Moreover, the Stoic principle of living according to reason and virtue is compromised when we allow ourselves to be perceived in this way. Stoicism emphasizes the virtue of courage, which includes the courage to set and enforce personal boundaries. It encourages us to stand up for ourselves and make decisions that reflect our self-respect and dignity. In conclusion, the fourth point highlights the importance of balancing kindness with strength and assertiveness. While Stoicism advocates for helping others and living a virtuous life, it also teaches the importance of maintaining self-respect and projecting an image of resilience. By ensuring that our kindness is not mistaken for weakness, we can avoid being exploited and maintain healthy, respectful relationships in line with Stoic principles of wisdom and courage. 5. Creating dependency in others. The fifth essential point in our discussion of the dangers of excessive kindness is the unintentional creation of dependency in those we help. This situation arises when our continuous and excessive support leads others to rely heavily on us for their needs and decisions, inhibiting their ability to be self-reliant and independent. In our eagerness to be of assistance, we may inadvertently foster a situation where others become too accustomed to our help, losing their initiative and sense of responsibility. From a Stoic viewpoint, this is problematic as Stoicism emphasizes the value of personal independence and self-sufficiency. The Stoic philosophy teaches that each individual should cultivate their inner strength and capacity to face life's challenges. By consistently stepping in to solve problems for others, we are, in effect, hindering their ability to develop these crucial life skills. We create an environment where they become passive recipients rather than active, self-determining agents in their own lives. The repercussions of creating such dependency are multifold. For the individuals who become dependent, it can lead to a lack of confidence in their abilities and a diminished sense of self-efficacy. They may become increasingly reliant on external help for even minor issues, leading to a perpetual state of dependency. For the one providing the help, this can lead to an increased burden of responsibility and the potential for resentment, as the continuous demands can become overwhelming. Moreover, this dynamic can strain relationships. The helper may feel taken for granted or overburdened, while the dependent individual might feel a loss of dignity or autonomy. This imbalance is contrary to the Stoic ideal of fostering mutual respect and empowering individuals to lead virtuous, self-reliant lives. In conclusion, the fifth point underscores the need for balance in our acts of kindness. While it is commendable to help others, it is equally important to encourage and support their journey towards independence and self-reliance. Stoicism advises us to assist others in a manner that promotes their strength and autonomy, rather than creating an unhealthy dependency. By doing so, we not only help others in a more sustainable way but also stay true to the Stoic principles of fostering personal growth and resilience. 6. Attracting opportunistic individuals. The sixth crucial point in understanding the downsides of excessive kindness is the tendency to attract opportunistic individuals. When we consistently display an overabundance of generosity, we may inadvertently become magnets for those who are looking to exploit our kindness for their own gain. This risk is particularly pronounced when our acts of kindness are not tempered with discernment and a healthy dose of skepticism. In the context of Stoic philosophy, this situation contradicts the principles of wisdom and prudence. Stoicism teaches the importance of using rational judgment in our interactions with others, encouraging us not to be blindly led by our emotions. When our generosity lacks the guidance of reason, it becomes an open invitation for opportunists who are quick to take advantage of unguarded benevolence. These opportunistic individuals come in various forms. Some may seek financial advantage, others emotional support without any intention of reciprocation, and some might even use our kindness to further their personal agendas. The common thread is that these individuals typically prioritize their own needs and desires over the well-being of the person offering help. This can lead to a one-sided relationship, where the giver is continuously drained without any real appreciation or return. The impact of such relationships on the giver can be profound. It can lead to feelings of betrayal and disillusionment when the true nature of these individuals is revealed. This experience can be particularly jarring for those who believe in the inherent goodness of people and can result in a deep sense of mistrust and cynicism. Moreover, this situation can also lead to a significant drain on resources, both emotional and material. Continuous exploitation can leave the giver feeling depleted, used, and emotionally exhausted. The Stoics warn against such excesses, advocating for a balanced and rational approach to generosity. In conclusion, the sixth point emphasizes the need for caution and discernment in our acts of kindness. While Stoicism encourages helping others, it also advises us to do so with wisdom and prudence. By being mindful of whom we help and the extent of our help, we can protect ourselves from being exploited by opportunistic individuals and maintain the Stoic ideal of living a life that is both generous and wise. 7. Risk of developing addictive behaviors. The seventh critical point in the discussion of the perils of excessive kindness is the risk of developing addictive behaviors. This arises when the continuous stress and emotional strain of overextending oneself in acts of generosity lead to seeking relief in unhealthy ways. Excessive kindness, especially when it results in emotional depletion or lack of appreciation, might push individuals towards various forms of addiction as coping mechanisms. In Stoic philosophy, the emphasis is on moderation and self-control. Stoicism teaches the importance of maintaining a balanced life and warns against the dangers of excess in any form. When kindness becomes excessive, it can create an emotional vacuum, leading to feelings of emptiness, frustration, or unacknowledged exhaustion. To fill this void or alleviate these negative feelings, individuals might turn to substances like alcohol, drugs, or engage in compulsive behaviors like overeating, excessive shopping, or gambling. These addictive behaviors are often used as temporary escapes from the realities of being overburdened by the needs of others. However, they are far from being effective solutions. Instead, they create additional problems, trapping the individual in a cycle of dependency and compulsion. This not only deteriorates one's physical and mental health, but also leads to a further deviation from living a virtuous and rational life, as advocated by Stoicism. Moreover, the development of addictive behaviors can have a detrimental impact on personal relationships, professional responsibilities, and overall quality of life. The individual may find themselves increasingly isolated, as their coping mechanisms interfere with their ability to maintain healthy and meaningful connections. This isolation can exacerbate the feelings of emptiness and lead to a deeper reliance on addictive behaviors, creating a downward spiral. In conclusion, the seventh point serves as a sobering reminder of the importance of practicing kindness within the limits of one's emotional and physical well-being. Stoicism, with its focus on moderation, self-awareness, and rational living, encourages us to be mindful of our own needs and to seek healthy ways of coping with the stresses of life. By recognizing the signs of emotional depletion and addressing them constructively, we can avoid the trap of addictive behaviors and live a more balanced and fulfilling life. 8. Mistrust and suspicion from others. The eighth vital point in our exploration of the downsides of excessive kindness is the unintended elicitation of mistrust and suspicion from others. In a world where self-interest often prevails, actions of extreme kindness can sometimes be misconstrued, leading people to question the motives behind such generosity. This skepticism can stem from a societal inclination to view altruistic behavior as an anomaly or a facade for ulterior motives. In Stoic philosophy, the emphasis is on living a life of virtue and integrity, acting in accordance with reason and moral principles. However, when our actions are excessively kind or overly self-sacrificial, they may not align with common societal expectations, thus arousing suspicion. People might wonder what drives someone to act so selflessly, often reaching the conclusion that such behavior is either a strategy for personal gain or a cover for something more sinister. This mistrust can manifest in various ways. Colleagues might question the sincerity of your helpfulness, suspecting it to be a ploy for professional advancement. Friends and acquaintances might speculate about hidden agendas, and in more personal relationships, such unparalleled generosity can lead to doubts about genuineness and authenticity. The impact of this mistrust on the person exhibiting kindness can be quite profound. It can lead to feelings of alienation, frustration, and confusion. When genuine efforts are met with skepticism, it can be disheartening and may even discourage future acts of kindness. This scenario is contrary to the Stoic pursuit of living a principled life, where virtuous actions are performed not for external validation, but for their own intrinsic value. Moreover, this situation can lead to a social paradox where kindness becomes a source of social discomfort or tension, rather than appreciation and gratitude. The individual may find themselves in a position where they need to justify their actions, which can be both mentally and emotionally taxing. In conclusion, the 8th point highlights the complex dynamics of human perception and interaction. While Stoicism encourages us to act virtuously and selflessly, it also teaches us the importance of doing so with wisdom and an understanding of human nature. By being aware of how our actions might be perceived and maintaining a balance in our approach to kindness, we can continue to act generously while mitigating the risk of misunderstanding and mistrust. 9. Emotional burnout. The 9th crucial point in discussing the negative aspects of excessive kindness is the risk of emotional burnout. This happens when the relentless effort of constantly caring for others without adequately tending to one's own emotional needs leads to a state of emotional exhaustion. This exhaustion is more than just feeling tired. It's a deep, pervasive weariness that can significantly impact one's mental health and overall quality of life. Stoicism, with its focus on inner tranquility and resilience, warns against such extremes. The philosophy advocates for a balanced life where personal well-being is as important as the well-being of others. When kindness is practiced without regard for personal boundaries and self-care, it can lead to a depletion of emotional resources. The caregiver may find themselves feeling drained, resentful, and unable to muster empathy, not just for others, but for themselves as well. This state of burnout is characterized by a lack of enthusiasm, diminished motivation, and a sense of futility. Activities that were once fulfilling may now feel burdensome. In severe cases, this can lead to detachment and depression, where the individual feels disconnected from their own emotions and the people around them. This condition is a far cry from the Stoic ideal of living a balanced and harmonious life. Moreover, emotional burnout can have ripple effects on other aspects of life. It can affect personal relationships, work performance, and one's ability to engage in social activities. It can also lead to physical symptoms, such as fatigue, insomnia, and various stress-related illnesses. In conclusion, the 9th point emphasizes the critical need for self-care and setting personal boundaries in the practice of kindness. While Stoicism encourages supporting others, it also stresses the importance of self-preservation and emotional resilience. By recognizing the signs of emotional fatigue and taking steps to address them, we can prevent burnout and maintain a healthy balance. This balance ensures that our acts of kindness are sustainable and that we are able to continue contributing positively to the lives of others while also nurturing our well-being. 10. Loss of genuine connections. The 10th and final point in our examination of the drawbacks of excessive kindness is the potential loss of genuine connections. This occurs when our constant readiness to give and support leads to relationships that are fundamentally imbalanced, lacking in reciprocity and genuine mutual respect. In these scenarios, our relationships can become one-dimensional, defined more by what we can provide than by a true shared bond. Stoicism, with its emphasis on virtue and meaningful relationships, suggests that interactions should be based on mutual respect and genuine connection. When we are overly generous, without expecting or receiving anything in return, our relationships risk becoming transactional. Others may begin to see us primarily as a means to an end, someone who is always available to help, listen, or give, without their needing to offer anything in return. This dynamic can lead to a sense of loneliness and a feeling that our relationships are superficial. The loss of genuine connections can manifest in various ways. We might find that people only reach out to us when they need something, or we may realize that our conversations are largely one-sided, focusing on the problems or needs of the other person. Over time, this can lead to a sense of isolation and a questioning of the authenticity of our social circle. Moreover, this situation can lead to a devaluation of our self-worth. When our kindness is not met with gratitude or reciprocation, we may start to question our value in the eyes of others. This can erode our self-esteem and lead to feelings of being unappreciated or taken for granted. In conclusion, the 10th point underscores the importance of fostering balanced and reciprocal relationships. While Stoicism advocates for kindness and generosity, it also emphasizes the value of self-respect and mutual support in relationships. By being mindful of the nature of our interactions and striving for relationships that are mutually enriching, we can avoid the pitfall of losing genuine connections. It is through this balance that we can cultivate relationships that are not only kind but also deeply fulfilling and meaningful, in accordance with Stoic principles. As we conclude our exploration of the 10 critical points highlighting the dangers of excessive kindness, it's important to reflect on the overarching message and its alignment with Stoic philosophy. Stoicism, with its emphasis on balance, rationality, and self-awareness, provides a valuable framework for understanding these pitfalls. The journey through these points is not a discouragement from being kind, but rather a call for mindfulness and moderation in our generosity. The key takeaway from this discourse is the importance of striking a balance between altruism and self-preservation. Kindness is undoubtedly a virtue, but when it crosses the line into self-neglect, it loses its essence and can lead to various personal challenges, including emotional burnout, loss of genuine connections, and being taken advantage of by others. Stoicism teaches us that true wisdom lies in recognizing the value of our own well-being and setting healthy boundaries in our acts of generosity. As we move forward, let us carry with us the lessons learned from these 10 points. Let's practice kindness with a sense of self-respect and discernment, ensuring that our generosity does not come at the cost of our emotional and physical health. By doing so, we can continue to contribute positively to the lives of others, while also nurturing our inner peace and resilience, staying true to the Stoic virtues of a well-lived life. Remember, the art of living well involves not just giving to others, but also giving to ourselves, the gift of balance, wisdom, and self-care.